Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. Michael Myers is back for more bloodshed in Haddonfield and Halloween Kills. And if you saw the 2018 version of Halloween, you may be wondering how that's possible. It arrives in theaters and will be streaming on Peacock October 15th, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies. Director David Gordon Green's new Halloween trilogy kicked off in 2018, picking up with Laurie Strode, the legendary final girl played by Jamie Lee Curtis 40 years after Michael Myers killed her friend. Halloween Kills picks up that very same night that the 2018 Halloween left off. Now, this was the same tactic that was used for the original sequel. Laurie, her daughter Karen, played by Judy Greer, granddaughter Allison, played by Andi Matichuk, believe that they've trapped Michael in Laurie's basement that's now up in flames. But what they don't realize is that he's now escaped. Word travels fast in Haddonfield that Michael Myers has returned all these years later, and members of the community have rallied together hoping to stop him once and for all. The film also stars Will Patton and Anthony Michael Hall, and brings back Kyle Richards, Nancy Stevens, and Charles Cyphers to the roles that they played in the original film from 1978. Director David Gordon Green co-wrote the film with Danny McBride and Scott Teems, and they've certainly approached this one differently than the 2018 film. Now, with this being the second part of a trilogy that does also connect to the original 1978 film, you really can't go into this one without some sort of knowledge of Laurie Strode and her 40-year fight with Michael Myers. Not only does this film pick up on that very same night in 2018, but the writing team have more to say about what happened back in 1978. Halloween Kills reminds us that the trauma of Michael Myers not only affected Laurie Strode and her family, but so many others that night, like Lindsay Wallace, Tommy Doyle, Lonnie Elam, Nurse Marion, and Sheriff Brackett. Yes, there is that, fan service feel bringing back these beloved characters, but it reminds us that their stories still matter and resonate in this town all these years later. Halloween Kills is less about Laurie and more about Haddonfield as a community. There's a mob mentality with them as Tommy Doyle leads the herd, taking them from the small towny bar to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. What they believe and how they respond is all based on trauma and fear. They latch on to what they think to be true, leading to pure chaos and anarchy. Jamie Lee Curtis has a really great line where she says, "It's not just Michael, it's what he's done to these people." There's a scene that feels very reminiscent of the anger and the violent actions that happened during the January 6th insurrection, and yet this film was made long before that event occurred. The 2018 film was violent, like any slasher flick would be, but it felt reined in, matching the approach that John Carpenter took with his film in 1978. David Gordon Green goes all out for Halloween Kills, following the rules of sequel, as the body count is exponentially higher, and the kills are gruesome, vicious, and just much more brutal than you'd expect. It's apparent that Michael Myers is pissed and cannot be stopped. Now, the violence isn't all that different than your traditional slasher flick, but I think that it's a stark contrast from what some have really appreciated about the original Halloween. Halloween Kills presents the town of Haddonfield as a place that's no longer the peaceful town that it once was in 1978. Some residents have never heard of Michael Myers, while some are still traumatized, blaming themselves for what happened. There are some really interesting themes and concepts that resonate, but I think that this film will really only connect with those who already have an investment in the Halloween franchise or just in scary movies. It ends on a big cliffhanger and a massive body count. I'm giving Halloween Kills 3 out of 5 ticket subs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I got to interview Jamie Lee Curtis, and it was a phenomenal sit down. It's been one of my favorite interviews of my career, so you definitely want to check that out. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip, and then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for an entire Halloween retrospective. Thank you so much for watching my review of Halloween Kills. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.